Welcome in, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Andrew Zerhide. We are back another week, and we have finally gotten to the final day of the regular season in the NBA. That's here Wednesday night. Everyone plays their final games. Full slate of games. Got some interesting pieces and parts still moving. Celtics still alive for the number one seed. Last week we were in here talking about that Cavs game, and they got absolutely dismantled against the Cavs. But yet then the Cavs lose 2 in a row to Atlanta.
Right.
At this point, the Celtics, probably that number one seed, it's got to be theirs for the taking. I mean, they play at home against Milwaukee. Got to finish the season strong. Got to get that win. But let's go back first to that game against the Cavs. Is this a problem with the Celtics? They beat the Cavs. They look good. But it seems like the Cavs get up for the Celtics, but they don't for anybody else.
Yeah, they really do. And I think I heard a stat recently after the All-Star break. I think the Cavs are like 12-14.
Yeah, under 500.
Yeah, and I think I heard that no team who has made the playoffs has ever won the championship with a less than 500 record after the All-Star break. So, yeah, it is kind of weird. I mean, I think the Cavs really should, 9 out of 10 times they should beat the Celtics. I mean, they should beat most teams besides maybe the Spurs and Golden State. But really, yeah, it's kind of weird how these two teams, they play pretty differently sometimes when they play each other. But really, I mean, I think last game that we saw when the Cavs blew them out, it really was kind of we expected a more competitive game, absolutely. But I mean, the Cavs, they really should beat the Celtics.
Okay, so we go back to the beginning of the season. Let's go way back, and we knew the Celtics' problem was rebounding. We knew they didn't have the size. We knew they weren't in good position a lot of times to get these rebounds. They play good defense. They play with effort. They can score when they're on. Isaiah Thomas leads them, but that rebounding, and it seems like all season long, they didn't do anything about it, and that's where we are again. They're getting out-rebounded every game, giving up too many offensive rebounds, and they didn't do anything. And, yeah, they might win a playoff series or two, but that seems to be going to be their undoing in the playoffs.
Right, yeah, you definitely need rebounds, and you think, who are the big guys? Jay Crowder and Amir Johnson, really. Al Horford, you think, should get more rebounds, but he really hasn't been doing that as much. But, yeah, rebounding. But, I mean, they're about to be the number one seed in the East. So you think, they do have a need, but at the same time, they're about to win, 52 games?
Right, and how much can we nitpick on teams? And every team has issues. Clearly, the Cavaliers, I know people say they'll turn it on in the playoffs, and LeBron James, what did he say before that Celtics game? I've been to 6 straight NBA finals. I don't care about a regular season. And I think he did care because it was the Celtics, and everyone was talking about the Celtics, and I think he wanted to show that he could beat them. But on the other hand can they just turn the switch on? Their defense is not that good or not as good as it could be. Are they just going to turn the switch and it's all going to become the greatest team in the East? I still wonder if the Cavs can just turn it on like that. They're still the best team. But how much can they control?
I think they will turn it on.
Yeah, okay.
I
don't expect them to lose in the first round. But
sure, yeah. I think, I'm not a LeBron fan, but I do think he is the best player in the world. And he, like you said, 6 straight NBA finals. That is crazy to me. And he won 3 of them, right? Three. I mean, I think he's going to lead his team, him and Kyrie and Kevin Love. But, I mean, they have to be healthy. I know they've been dealing with some injury issues.
Yeah, Tristan Thompson.
Tristan Thompson.
He was out that Celtics game, which made the rebounding problem even worse because Thompson wasn't playing.
Yeah, so, I mean, to me, I think the Cavs, to me, they're the favorite in the East. I think Celtics and Cavs will meet up in the Eastern Conference Finals, but...
Okay, so that was my next question. Let's handicap this East. We're going to assume the Celtics get the number one seed. They beat Milwaukee at home. Maybe that assumption is crazy, but either way, the Cavs play Toronto tonight, Wednesday night, for that number 2 seed. Cavs will get the number 2 seed. Toronto will probably get number 3, so they'll match up in the first round. So Washington will be 4. So handicap this race. Cavs the favorite. Celtics with home court advantage. What kind of chances? And then does Toronto or Washington have a better chance to get to the finals, Eastern Conference Finals?
Well, I think it is big that the Celtics do have home court advantage. They play much better at home. A lot of younger guys. They play better with the crowd on their side. But I know the Wizards and the Raptors. I think they're a little underrated. I think both those teams can really step up and play really well. But to me, I don't think it's really going to make that much of a difference between the 1 and 2 seed. You get home court advantage, but who are you either going to play? You're either going to play the Heat. Who's competing for the last couple of spots?
Indiana, Chicago, and Miami. It's probably going to be Indiana and Chicago. So right, you're facing one of those two teams. You should beat that first round game.
Right.
Then you'll probably play Washington if you're the number 1 seed. And then basically, you're right, it's going to come down to probably Cavs and Celtics.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, that will help the number 1 overall seed, obviously, the home court advantage in that championship. But, I mean, to me, it's playing the Wizards or the Raptors in the second round, it's kind of pick your poison. They're both very good.
And they match up
teams.
against Celtics.
They have good depth. The Raptors, they've given the Celtics a ton of trouble this year.
Right.
So, I mean...
It's anybody's guess, but the Cavs are still the favorite.
Sure, yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, and we'll get into the Western Conference playoffs later in the show as well. We'll make some picks on our Salt Hill Pub Picks of the Week. We'll take a break. When we come back, Red Sox back in town off a tough road trip. When we come back, you're watching YCN Sports Talk.